On May 31st, 2023, I helped host a mini E3 at my university. Stay tuned and how I did it. It's back to school month, and you know what that means? That's right, it's time to legally buy those textbooks and hash out those planners in preparation to sit for hours on end, to listen to information for hours on end that may or may not fly over your head, but enough so that you can fill out piles of virtual papers, presentation scripts, thesis, and memory space above your laptop and your own freaking brain. In the hopes that a really good Okay, now, before you break down crying in the madness that is the education system, I'd also like to bring this back around to the lighter side of the education system, which is, surprisingly enough, college. Now, disclaimer, this is in no way to persuade you to go to college or dissuade other college students from the colleges they're enrolled in. Wherever you go is your choice, unless it's not, which I hope it isn't. This is meant to be a fun video about my time as a college student in the University of California, Irvine. For those who have just been accepted to a university that is able to provide the following, I'll tell you what that means. You get to have a fresh new start. You get to put in the work to study whatever interests you. You get to make new friends who are mature and professional. And clubs start to be an actual valuable part of the school culture. For me, I got my bachelor's degree in computer game science at UC Irvine, the university with the best mascot, Peter the Anteater. I made some of my closest friends through becoming part of a little club called Video Game Development Club, or VGDC at UCI. That's right, I basically majored in the science of making video games with a social university club to boot. Throughout my 3 years in UC Irvine, I've learned the essentials of video game development. I've made several game projects that I'm super proud of, and I worked with some of the most talented people who I'm so excited to hear from in the future. Currently, UCI is the third youngest UC to date, and for what it's worth in terms of places to study for video game development, UCI is 9th. Now in the top 10 universities for game development in the nation, according to US News. So when I say that UCI is a rising star and a good choice for aspiring game developers to enroll in, I am not kidding. Especially from the moves that VGDC made with the university this past year, where we introduced and hosted our first university-wide gaming convention, Z3. You know, sounds. Now, before I get into the details of how I convinced the university to hold a mini E3 on campus, I have to talk about how Video Game Development Club operates in UCI. Well, actually, I'll let my past self and former 2023 VGDC outreach officer, the one who was in charge of all the networking with game companies with the club, and the co-host of Z3, Matthew Pickens, explain all about it through the university radio segment we had done to promote for Z3.
What exactly is it that you guys do day to day, like in your meetings?
So the general day-to-day for the Video Game Development Club is we have daily workshops taught by some of our amazing officers that will teach from our 7 different topics. We have officers who are involved in production, programming, UI UX, design, writing, art, and audio. And they host workshops every single day, in addition to our general meetings in which we bring in guest speakers and occasionally have game nights, socials to bring in club members with our staff, I'd say. In addition to that, we also have fun events like our recruiter fair that happened this past fall, our Game Developers Week, where we brought in 10 different local studios to come network and just have people learn about their experiences in the game industry. And then obviously this quarter we will be having our first Z3 convention showcase.
Well, you guys have been working on your very first video game expo, which is coming up here on May 31st, correct?
That's correct.
Can you tell us a little bit about that and what that project work went into?
So Z3 came into mind once we saw like conventions like ZotCon, and we thought that it was the time for video game development to have their own convention. The event is essentially a showcase of student-made games throughout the year. Essentially, what we have in Video Game Development Club is a quarterly pitch project system. So each quarter you would pitch a game and then develop the game throughout the quarter and then finally showcase it at the end of that quarter. But for this specific showcase, opening it up to general UCI attendees and UCI students so that they can have a chance to play the games that we've really worked our heart and soul into, and it's going to be really cool. We're so excited to see people's reactions to them.
So at this event coming up, students and staff are going to actually play the video games you guys have been working on yourselves. And it's all UCI students.
Yes,
work.
that's correct. Yeah.
Awesome. That's really cool.
I was the events coordinator for 1 year only in VGDC at UCI, so naturally I wanted to do something special for the club for the only year that I was in office, especially with VGDC having existed for more than 20 years. At the time, it was the events coordinator's job to organize the events that had become traditional for VGDC. We also had the ability to approve any event that would prove beneficial to the club and its community. Z3, though, came as an idea I suggested to our club president during the first quarter of the year, as I entered office as the new events coordinator. It was to be an extension of the quarterly project showcases, but instead of keeping it within a somewhat club-exclusive meeting, we would open up the submissions to all of the students who had worked on a game to showcase for the event. I later pitched it to a club advisor saying it was an event created for students by students to celebrate the games that were made throughout the year, both by club members and also by students of the game development program. Due to COVID-19, looking over the budget and the amount of work it would have taken, we settled at the time on saying that the event would be better held for the next year, when COVID-19 had officially passed. It was unfortunate, but understandable. Nonetheless, I would mention Z3 in a little tongue-in-cheek remarks in the club for the weeks to come. Like Z3. However, things began to shift as the year went on. During winter quarter, one of our other officers had suggested a club member-centered event where it would involve the intermittent workshops that we had every week that would build up to a huge club event that would take place in our club meetings called Galahorn. To my surprise, to announce Galahorn, they had made a mock announcement for Z3 to get our club members to talk about it.
Now we have a very special announcement for Z3. Attention all gamers and game developers. The Video Game Development Club is proud to announce our latest feature, focused on chaos, explosions, and economics of DDR RAM.
At that point, there was no stopping it. The wheel was in motion and the notion of Z3 began to become more and more enticing. Finally, once we had taken another look at our budget, and with no other major events requiring us to spend that budget, we were willing to use the rest to make Z3 happen. Still, it wasn't really a safe investment to make, since if we were to commit the rest of the budget to this convention, we wouldn't have room to fund any unforeseen expenses for the spring quarter. Eventually, within several weeks, we had gotten word from the Student Program Funding Board, or the SPFB, that they would be opening application to fund club events for the upcoming quarter. We soon realized that this could be a safe net to be well funded for Z3, since another fellow club, Anime Club, has been known to fund their own traditional convention in the past called ZotCon. Once we were approved for the funding of the event, we then reserved the Pacific Ballroom in UCI for May 31st, 2023 to serve as a convention floor for the event, with further details to be made in spring quarter closer to the event itself. Upon the start of the spring quarter, we had then assigned a committee of club officers to take charge in organizing for Z3 as the event came closer and closer. As such, we had to lay out everything needed to hold the event, including a social media team led by the social media managers of the club, a graphic designer team to design the advertisements for the event, an outreach team to talk with industry professionals to try to get them to attend the event, and finally, someone to coordinate with the university's event organizers to prepare the room for the event. To start off, we had to open the submissions of the games to be showcased to the UCI students. Funnily enough, submissions didn't begin to pile in until close to the deadline, so from the committee's perspective, we were erring towards the idea that no one was interested in being part of the convention in the first place. Still, we kept spirits high by coming up with ideas and discussing how to retain as many people to attend the event as possible. Soon we decided to hold an opportunity drawing system for several Steam gift cards, where we would stamp a card for each game you played for up to 5 times to enter into the drawing. We even got an orchestral ensemble called the Euphonic Video Game Ensemble to perform video game music for the event. We also thought of giving away 100 Z3 themed keychains to attendees, albeit we ran out of them pretty quickly within the first 2 hours. Also, by the way, literally the day before Z3, the map you see in these Z3 videos were made the night before we realized that nobody would know what the layout of the room would be once they entered. So that's also another little tidbit that was made last minute. All this planning and last minute decisions for the convention. We were so nervous to end up having an event with an empty convention room. How would it end up being like, we wondered. On May 31st, we hosted Z3. We were so ecstatic to see a packed room of students playing student-made video games. There was such a wide variety of games showcased, from Smash Bros-like games, to horror games, to games from some universities outside UCI within the Orange County area, to a game made entirely with the students' own video game engine. A whole year in the making, and it turned out to be one of the most fun events that VGDC has ever hosted. The staff members in charge of providing for the room even said that it was one of the most fun events they've held for clubs at UCI. Z3 was a success, and honestly speaking for myself, hosting it and being part of UCI has been the most fun I've had in my entire life. I would cherish the memories for the rest of my life. I've been in UCI for 3 years, however it wasn't until the 3rd year that I decided to join the Video Game Development Club. It's somewhat bittersweet to have graduated from UCI because, well, now I have, after close to 2 decades of homework and projects occupying my time, these past 2 months of summer I literally had nothing else to do besides some good old R&R and waiting for job offers, so I thought I would kill time by posting this video. So for those who have been accepted this year into UCI, first off, congratulations. Secondly, I hope you will have a great time as an anteater, and if you spot someone with a 20 Z3 keychain, now you know the secret college lore behind that very rare college trinket. I don't know if Z3 will ever be held in the future. It may be a one-off for all I know, and who knows? Maybe guys watching it will take part in the next Z3, and if it does end up happening, I'll definitely look forward to seeing the future generation of video game developers. So, what's next for me? Honestly, I'm not sure. The job outlook for game development has been pretty low, and with the recent layoffs of game devs throughout well-known game companies, it's not looking that great. Nonetheless, I'm looking forward to what the future brings for me. Thanks for watching this video. It's been kind of slow recently, and I just wanted to talk about what's been going on the past 2 years of my life. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, and I don't know, it's up to you anyway. But I also have social media and itch.io that you can go help follow, and yeah, check out my games that I've made throughout the years, and yeah, that's basically it. So yeah, thanks for listening, and yeah, see you later then.